This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Imagine if a man was so good at writing that he could sit down in front of a dozen or so people and write a New York Times bestseller from start to finish. This is the analogy people use most to describe Kim Jung Gi, however, it is ridiculous and exaggerated. If you wanted to make it more realistic, you'd have to add that the writer wasn't allowed to erase any of his sentences. The greatest living artist is dead. Guido Reni passed away today in 1642. Guido Reni is dead. It's all over. Who the fuck is
This one. Aw, come on.
See, if you went up to a person today and asked them to name an artist, you'd probably hear the usual suspects: Van Gogh, Picasso, Da Vinci. Yet just a few centuries ago, if you had asked that same question, you would have gotten Michelangelo, Raphael, and Guido Reni. Guido Reni's life doesn't concern us, neither does his art. The only thing that matters is that when he passed away, he was the most famous artist in the world with some 200 students under him. How is it that a man of this much importance is largely forgotten today, just like our sixth sense? The Cluny Tapestries, nicknamed The Lady and the Unicorn, are 6 giant tapestries circa 1500s depicting our senses: touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight, and, well, to this day, no one really knows what the artist meant. Do you remember? Our senses dull as we get older. It just happens that the sixth sense dulls when we're quite young. It's been so long, you can't even imagine what it felt like. It's all over. The greatest living artist is dead. Kim Jung Gi is dead. To really understand this man's importance, you first need to understand speedrunning in video games. Let's take a look at Celeste, a trans allegory where you learn to accept yourself and stop watching Fallout New Vegas video essays. Controls are simple: you jump, you grab, you dash. It's a fairly easy game, except for the cruel and unusual punishment that is adding win mechanics to a 2D platformer. I will find the programmer who did this. Huh? You think you can hide from me, Noel Berry? 7 days to update the game, Mr. Berry. 7 days. Celeste has what we call a skill ceiling. Basically, imagine a curve that shows the progression of your skill throughout a video game and how good you could really get. Now, on the lower end, you have the garbage early player. Dies a lot, has to learn. Then you have the intermediates. They die less, goodbye mini standards, but have room to grow. At the top though, you have the real sweats. People wearing thigh highs, people who don't die once. They know the game like the back of their hands. And yet, there's still this colossal gap between the theoretical best normal player of a game and the average speedrunner of it. So many techniques, so many weird and thought to be impossible moves you have to spend months, sometimes years mastering just to shave off a millisecond. People put their lives into being the best at one single game. They don't just play it, they break it. And they break themselves to achieve it. There is no comparison. A speedrunner is simply on a different matrix of skill, one which lies beyond the normal limits. If we applied the idea of a skill ceiling to art, we would have the intermediates here, the master artists here, and Kim Jung Gi all the way over here. That is the colossal gap in technique. If you type in Rocket Man, you actually get this jetpack you can use to fly. Let's play a game. Close your eyes. Yeah, really close them now. Come on, nobody's gonna make fun of you. Now, imagine an apple.
Wait, did they really close their eyes?
I know, what an idiot, right? I mean, look at that face. Oh shit, I'm actually on 1 second. Imagine an apple. Rotate it in your head. See it from different angles. Pretty easy, right? Now let's do something a bit more challenging. Close your eyes and imagine a bicycle. This might be a bit harder, but try to rotate it in your head. Can you do it? Okay, now something just a tiny bit harder. Close your eyes and imagine a fully armed, realistic Yamato-class battleship with cannons on the sea. Rotate it. See it from different angles. Perhaps you think this is impossible. For Kim Jung Gi, this is a warm-up sketch. I could keep going about how this guy is so technically skilled, how he can draw without any sketch, how he doesn't use erasers, how he can do it all. I mean, my favorite comparison to make is a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Kishibe Rohan, who is supposed to be this impossibly fast manga artist. Like, this guy draws an entire panel in 30 seconds, and this is supposed to be a comedic gag, and yet someone equally great actually exists in the real world. How crazy is that? And you could be just as good with the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. Skillshare. I recently begun taking this dynamic figure drawing class by Chauvin Toomey. I'll admit, I'm not the best at drawing humans, but the class teaches you everything from gesture drawing to contours and even composition, and with summer coming up, it's a great opportunity to dive even deeper. This class and so many more are available on Skillshare right now, which is why it's the biggest online learning platform with thousands of classes made by professionals in so many fields like art, films, freelance. I mean, pretty much anything you want is here. Like, I needed to learn some Rhino Grasshopper, which is a plugin for an already not so famous 3D program, and they still have dozens of classes on it. The catalog is crazy. And like I said, with summer right around the corner, why not spend your free time learning or developing a skill? You may even discover a cool hobby for yourself. And you can do all that for free. That's right, the first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Look, I'm being honest here, this is an amazing tool I've used and you get to try it completely for free. Like, you have nothing to lose, so I suggest you don't miss out and click that link. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to Kim.
But to me, Kim Jung Gi represented hope. I was a young artist drawing in only black and white, simple line work too. I was scared that I would never find any real success if I never added color into my drawings, or if I never did something more expressive. Every big artist I knew did color in some way or another. Then I found G, someone who drew just like me, someone who was bigger than any other artist I had seen. And this made me realize I could be, well, me, and still be beloved. This was Kim's legacy in my eyes. He showed me that anything was possible. He showed me that a legacy was in reach. He died at 47. So suddenly, overnight, the greatest living artist is dead. Vincent van Gogh has passed away. Yet, I am not here to talk about his art. You see, this video is about legacy and dying early. And Vincent is the final frontier of legacy crime. This man getting famous post-mortem has been the most catastrophic event in art history, right up there with the first furry painting. Today, an unimaginable number of writers, painters, sculptors toil away for decades for a chance at eternal fame, to have a legacy, to be immortal. And the flame that keeps them going? A mentally ill Dutchman. People used to understand that the chase was pointless, but now they keep going with this glimmer of hope that they will end up like Vincent, famous after death. This is just sad. Abandon fame before it gets too late, before you put down your brush to make an Instagram reel, before you change your style to get more followers, before you start to complain about not getting enough likes, before you end up like me. I remember being younger, my friend had told me to watch this animated TV show. I'd only seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. Is it like that? Yes. Okay. I sit down in front of the computer and I hit the spacebar. In that second, I hear it. Young man, become legend. I knew what had to be done. It's funny, for most people, Evangelion's plot is what sticks with them. For me, it was that stupid intro. Hell, last year, it was my most listened song. I know, this guy doesn't have Spotify. Well, you don't have a soul. You will die. You will become dirt. You will become ashes. You will become nothing. No feeling, no consciousness, no nothing. Do you even understand the inevitable fate you're sailing towards? So yeah, I don't have Spotify. Hearing the intro, seeing the animation, I knew what I wanted. To become an artist, I was first infected with legacy sickness.
Let's go with a pogo fight. Yeah, this one seems good.
I don't really cry while playing video games. As immersive as they can be, they just don't affect me that way. So you should understand just how special Before Your Eyes is. In fact, I have not seen anyone play this game without crying. It's frankly genius design. See, you control your character by blinking, and you stay in a scene by keeping your eyes open. Though, this is not what makes the game so special.
We see our life in blinks. You are Benjamin Bryn, though people call you Benny. You are young, maybe 3 or 4, and your mother loves you. You are young, and your mother...
You know, one day you'll be able to paint exactly what you have in your head. You'll be a real artist, unlike your poor mom.
You get toys, a cat, your father is a professor, your mother a pianist, your father a professor, your mother...
You know, my father once told me, when I was about your age, the only way to fight against time is to create a work of genius, which might live on after you're gone. So I asked him, what about your children? Thinking, I might be a work of genius just as I was. He said, yes, I suppose. If you made a work of genius, I could live on through that as well. No such luck for me.
She wants you to be so great. You are. You grow, you draw, you play, you touch the keys and make beautiful sounds. You're a prodigy, gifted. Mother is elated. She can be immortal now. But then you meet her.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come over here. Yes, Mr. Camera Boy, I'm talking to you. Why are you always out here taking photos? If you really want to take a photo of something cool, you should take a photo of this.
Life is good with Chloe. Talk in class, play a Pokemon knockoff, draw her, take photos. One day, she invites you to not train for your piano recital and instead sleep on the beach. You accept. As you lay on the sand, listening to her, your eyes can't help but draw, stay here. But everybody blinks. You ruin the recital, you get sick, more than a normal teen. At home, you find a new passion, to draw, to paint. You get better, you get accepted places, you finish art school, you get famous, you get your own studio, and your mother calls you to chat.
Hey, Ben. Don't even pick up this call, okay? I mean it. I'm gonna be a little sick for a while, but really, I don't want you worrying about it at all. You're such an important woman. Oh, Benny, I told you not to pick up. There's nothing you can do for me right now. All you can do is just keep painting, keep striving. You make that work of true genius. So, I'm going to hang up the phone now, and you're just going to get back to work, okay? Goodbye, Benny.
You get your own studio, and your mother... Everybody blinks. You stop drawing. What's the point anymore? Should have spent more time with her. Should have stayed there. You're stuck for months. You paint her. A passion ignited once more. You get a show. You look at the text. Relatively unknown in her life, Bryn lifted his mother's work out of obscurity with the creation of this piece. She is now considered to be one of the great composers of her time. Finally immortal. And look who's there.
Is that really you? It's Chloe, your neighbor.
Chloe asks you out again, and all is right with the world. God is in his heaven. Except none of this is true. You didn't just keep going after bombing that recital. You didn't just get normal sick. You... The life you saw, it's only what you wanted it to be, what you wrote and dreamed. You get sicker, you stop going to school, you can't even leave your bed anymore. But at least you write. Eventually Chloe comes, picks up what you have been writing.
You really got into this, didn't you? Oh, here I am. But on the eve of his big audition, he completely dropped the ball, staying up all night with his first love and blowing it the next day. First love? Okay, Benny. And we really could have just slept on the beach another night. But I'm also glad we didn't because, well, another night wouldn't be the same night, if that makes sense.
Embarrassed, alone, you blink. You play the piano for your mother again. You take your medicine, write about your days, see your cat, and suddenly, there she is again.
You do realize this is really nothing special to me. I've seen this all before.
As you lay on the bed, listening to her, your eyes can't help but drop.
Hey! What are you looking at? Don't look up there. Look at me. I'm talking to you. I want to give you something. but I think I don't want to be in the room when you see what it is. So maybe if you close your eyes, I can give it to you and I'm gonna leave. Close your eyes now, okay?
It gets worse. Nothing helps, but they love you. Everybody blinks, and you must go. I'm not crying, it's just really good game design.
Before Your Eyes has something more to say about legacy. We know what can happen when an artist dies with a legacy, when an artist dies early with legacy, when an artist dies early without one. But what about someone who didn't even get to be an artist? Dying so early, you can't even have a legacy. Is this true? Is an early end a start wasted? What does it say about us when we value people based on how long their fame lasts? What is legacy? And is it important? After Evangelion, I was completely immersed into art. One drawing a week minimum. I made some okay stuff, some good, some bad, hopefully more good than bad. I realized I had a knack for drawing buildings. I started working more and more, sometimes spending weeks on a single illustration. This was the start of my downfall. Not the huge amount of effort being put in, but expecting something in return for this effort. I realized I had started to draw for other people's approval. It was all over. The greatest living artist is dead. Qinni Art is dead. Maybe you don't know who that is. Let me take you back to a better time, before the most followed artist was a narcissist who called himself the most followed visual artist in the world.
Pause for a second. Devon Rodriguez, you are a fucking loser. You do pre-planned, scripted fake shit and you think you're something special. I'm sure the people don't see the giant 4K camera taking 5 angle shots of them and the guy in front who keeps glancing every 2 seconds. And everyone stays in the same position for an hour in this mystical world where your construction lines can magically disappear. But this video is for you. Either your attitude will greatly change in the future, or you will pass as a sad old man. Just another Guido Reni, another starter for a video essay. Right, where were we? Before people like Devon, there was a huge unique artist in the community, Qinni, or her real name, Qinni Art. You've seen Qinni's art, either directly or in other people's artworks. Her style is so distinct, I can only describe it as a sea of stars, swirling galaxies brimming with fish. But under Qinni's cute art is distress. Women are crying, drowning, unbecoming. Mermaids are caught, people get tied to machines and bandaged, split open, stars spilling out, crying and crying and crying. Who are they? All Qinni. It starts in 2015.
It's time. Hammer time. I wish I had some hammer time pants. Just waiting for the doctor now. For those who don't know, I'm getting a heart procedure done today. Lots of waiting around right now though. I got the news yesterday that I need heart surgery, and it's happening in about a month or two because my heart procedure failed. So apparently, worst case scenarios happened. Turns out my heart valve replacement stayed out of place, so I have to have emergency open heart surgery, so there is that. 3 open heart surgeries in 2 months. It's gotta be a record or something, right? Fuck. I miss playing the violin. I can't right now because of my open heart surgery. Thank you guys for 150,000, you crazies. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for 654,000. Thank you guys for 1 million followers. Altogether, I was pretty much bed or housebound for 6 months. I'm hospitalized again for this unknown heart disease and may need open heart surgery. For the 4th time. Grandfather also passed this weekend, so not a good pile-up. After 33 days of hospital, 11 hours of heart surgery, I'm finally out though. I wish things had gotten better, but it hasn't. My granddad's tumor has migrated. The doctors are thinking of sending me to the Mayo Clinic in the US. And US medical fees are so much, I don't know if I'd want to go or just die and save some money for my aging parents. The more recent good news is that at least the scar tissue in my heart has stopped, since I started trying this new medication I'm lab ratting for. They also found a lump mass in my body, and they're not sure if it's cancer or not. A bit of bad news. All of the doctors at PC Cancer think the mass in my body is sarcoma, which is not great. Sarcoma is a rare soft tissue cancer.
Hey guys. I don't know how this is. Yeah, I got my diagnosis for cancer. So, yeah, the prognosis is that I definitely have cancer and that I have about a year and a half left.
Sometimes I like to pretend my blue and purple hospital bruises are little galaxies. Qinni Han has passed away suddenly on February 8, 2020. She will forever remain living through her artwork. I like to go in the comments of romantic posts and scroll down to see people tagging their lovers. Seeing all these relationships floating in the wild, it brings you back to humanity. I'm sure there's a part of you thinking, this Kim guy is cool, but I've seen savants before. Who hasn't watched that video of Stephen Wiltshire drawing a city from memory? Some autistic savants can do this, recall an image they saw only once perfectly.
But here's the problem. Kim isn't autistic. He's not a savant. This is a guy who was born with zero talent, who is so good that people think he must have some genetic advantage. This even goes against my channel's themes. I highlight the weirdos, the North Koreans, the blind, yet this is just some ordinary guy. But it is this ordinariness, yes, that's a real word, I fucking checked and I won that Scrabble game, you piece of this ordinariness that makes Kim so extraordinary. How does one even get to this level? I'll tell you the secret. Kim never listened to his lessons, drew for hours at school on his desk, went to art school at 19, got enlisted, came back, and drew and drew and drew. How much? 12 hours a day. That's insane. While you and I are here on YouTube, there's some Korean guy drawing 12 hours a day in some cave. What chance do we even stand? Well, you don't. At his death, skill-wise, this was the greatest living artist.
When Madame Bovary dies, she bleeds in ink. And what happens to us? Tears of acrylic roll down my...
I don't really cry at funerals. I've always believed in the notion that passing away on time isn't sad. I told myself I would only cry if someone died early. When my grandfather passed away, I wasn't bawling my eyes out. He had lived to a ripe old age and had an amazing, beautiful journey. Death is part of life. What is there to do except accept it? But I couldn't. Isn't it a little extra sad, crude, ugly when someone passes away early? It's like that life is tainted now. It wasn't beautiful. It got cut too short. And that's all you can think about now, that it ended early. So when my aunt passed away, lung cancer, I thought I would cry. And I kept waiting for it. It was extra crude, sad, and ugly. A life tainted without legacy. But I realized there's no such thing.
My mom asked me if the dishes were done, and I yelled, Damien Hirst. She hugged me. She knew they were washed. To me, there's only one quintessential speedrunning game, Neon White. This game has a story, I think. Under the horribly themed cutscenes though, is an experience like no other. We could talk about its unique gameplay elements, how it's a card platforming genre merger, how it has so much depth in its tech, but you've heard all of this, and this is not Neon White. Neon White is the confounding sensation of beating a level and deciding to play it again. You can go on to the next level, there is no real benefit to playing it again, but you know you could be faster, you know it could be better. It's that moment of pressing replay, the white streaks on the corners as you zoom around the map, and the music and the adrenaline. That's Neon White. This game is at times sad. I think of the many people sat at their desks doing this seriously. Speedrunning for the glory is maybe the dullest form of legacy sickness. The greatest evidence to this is watching people actually get the world record after months of grinding. What is their usual reaction? Not a scream, but a sigh of relief.
Oh my God.
Oh!
The passionate seem to be the loudest. These speedrunners, men scared of death, wasting their years for a place in a leaderboard so they can at least have some legacy, some immortality. I pity them. They've missed the point. Sure, we'll make hour-long video essays about them, we'll call them legends, but I ask of you, name 3 speedrunners. Name 1 speedrunner. Speedrunning should be a passion, and for most, it is. It isn't about putting your name out there, not about being remembered, but actually affecting people, even if that's only yourself. That feeling, that rush, those white streaks on the corners, that's why I love watching these people. I always go back to the one clip that started it for me. Streets 112.
I wait. Right when he starts firing, they're trying to back boost me, the double. Body armor. 2 quick ones. I already know I'm getting there on the perfect line. Look at the fucking pace. 50, 49, 47, baby! That's fucking right. That's fucking it. Fucking pumped watching this one again. I waited to cinema too because I said, oh my God, it might be 112. And it fucking is. It fucking is, baby. Yeah!
The passionate seem to be the loudest.
You have to say it.
Oh, right. The greatest living artist is dead. Akira Toriyama is dead. It's all over. I don't think people understand just how far this man's legacy reached. I always see posts about Goku food trucks, the merch, the show, the millions of people that cared for what this man had made and how he had touched them. But here's a fun fact. He's the entire reason this video exists. Kim started drawing after seeing Dr. Slump, a manga by Toriyama. And I dove deeper into art because of Kim. If anything, Toriyama is the reason this channel exists. But you need to understand that he won't live on through his art or his fame, but he'll live on through us. I wish to highlight 2 animated slice-of-life films that had a great impact on me and art. Both coming from Japan. Sadly, the West isn't much interested in the slice-of-life genre. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Where do you even begin with a title like that? It comes from a simple idea in the film. People used to believe that if you were sick in the heart, you should eat a heart. If you were sick in the stomach, eat a stomach. Our female protagonist, Sakura, is sick in the... well, you can guess. She is super energetic, lively, and terminally ill. Then there's our mostly left unnamed male protagonist. Him not having a name for the majority of the film is on purpose, of course. This guy is a complete empty slate. No friends, no love life. He'd much rather read books and stay in his fictional worlds. The two meet and the film centers on this beautiful harmony of a girl full of life but dying, and this guy who, although healthy, is dead inside. You see her final months ticking off the bucket list, traveling, living life to the fullest, and in the case of the guy, learning what it means to live. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is a very honest film. One of the first shots is of Sakura's funeral. She pretty much doesn't go a couple lines without making a joke about dying soon. All the moments in the film are therefore coated with this bittersweet feeling, knowing that she will pass soon, but still experiencing life's beauty. And towards the end, Sakura's life takes a huge turn. She doesn't die of her pancreatic illness. Instead, she gets stabbed by a random assailant while walking. This twist hits you like cold water. This girl, who we knew already had a set, short amount of time to live, still died early. And this singular moment in the film made me realize there is no right time. We all die too early. We all die right on time.
俺と西宮友達になれるかな。何言ってんの俺って 言ってたんだろ小学生の時。やっと意味わかった。
I want to talk about A Silent Voice, but I can't bring myself to do it. This film is so special to me. The way it creates relatability through extremely mundane details like playing with a pen in class or how well it conveys social anxiety, it deserves more than to be condensed into a couple short paragraphs. It's my favorite film after all. And although the themes of early death linger in this film, what makes me most upset is the early death outside of this film. We will never have another A Silent Voice because the people who made it are no longer with us. Kyoto Animation Arson Attack 2019. Unfortunately, 36 studio workers did not survive. The arsonists got convicted just this year. Those 36 writers, animators, artists, their legacy will go on forever through us and the effect they had. Thank you. Thank you.
忘れ物。手話どうしてって覚えた。
After I realized I had started to draw for other people, I tried to stick to it, keep going, and make something to outlive me. But I realized that's not how it works, and so I quit. I stopped drawing with one final send-off. I made this, a real passion project, and I'm so glad I did. I collabed with Solar Sands, I live-streamed with The Canvas, hello Sean, I spoke with Great Art Explained, I dunk on James sometimes, but he works alone to make some of the highest quality content here. I got to talk with and touch all of you, I even DM'd Jacob Geller. He never responded, of course. When I think of my legacy, I don't look at my sub count or my views. I always go back to the comments, to the many who said I made them cry, and to the many who said I changed their minds. Those feelings you have, that's what I'll leave behind.
I haven't been so honest about Kim. Sure, we lost the greatest living artist, but more than that, we lost a real perv. I mean, this guy really liked drawing explicit stuff, lots and lots of it. Enough to fill dozens of sketchbooks. Can you blame him? If you could draw anything you wanted, would you not draw these? I think at a certain skill level, people just start to draw, and Kim was the best at it. Thank you, Kim. It is because of you that I kept drawing, and it is because of you that I still draw and paint today.
인스타는 안 해야 되는데 안 할 수가 없어. 보면 너무 자극돼가지고 하기 싫어. 왜 이렇게 잘 그리지? 이렇게 생각될 때도 있는데 그래도 보면 자극을 많이 받으니까.
All this media, art, and artists helped me come to terms with my aunt's passing. It isn't true that an early death taints a life, nor does an early death exist. And a life without legacy, as in a life without some grand opus that we will live off of in the future, also doesn't exist. Our legacies are the people we affect, no matter their number. Not some oil on a canvas. So thank you to all the artists, and I hope you make a legacy of your own. Young man, become legend. I guess I gotta say it, right? Thanks again for tuning into Polyblank, and I'll see you later.